welcome back to another vlog. In this week's vlog I am going to be prepping for Bath and West show. I have just tidied the desk and now I need to cut out all my DTF transfers ready for the t-shirts, bum bags and tote bags. I basically just try and fit on as much as I can on the sheet, so it's sometimes quite difficult to cut these out. I'm also on quite a tight time frame for this, so currently we're on Wednesday and I am either going to be leaving on Tuesday night or Wednesday morning. So because the Bath and West is fairly close to where my parents live, I am going to be staying with them. So that means I don't have to pay for accommodation and it will just be the fuel to commute each day. But basically that leaves me with a week to get ready, which is not really that long, not when I've got new products that I'm releasing. I'm going to get as much as I can done, and if I don't get it all done, I don't get it all done. It won't be the end of the world. I don't know how this market's going to go for me. It could be really bad, it could be really good, or it could be somewhere in the middle. Who knows? So I've got no idea what numbers of stock to take. But I think because I'll be driving, I'm just going to pack in as much as will fit in the car, and then I can restock overnight. These are my bum bag designs, plus this one here is the new t-shirt design. Yesterday I received my order for my new keyring designs. I did a group order with my friends, so we saved on a bit of shipping, and I was really intrigued to see how this manufacturer turned out, because loads of people had been recommending it and saying like they've got a faster turnaround than the one that I normally use and the quality is still just as good. They turned up and probably about 50% of them are B grades. You can't be up here, darling. I think the overall quality just isn't as good as my other manufacturer. I wouldn't even say that they had a faster turnaround either, to be honest. Like, it still ended up being a really long time in production, so when I order my mouse mats, I'm going to order some of the charms with my normal menu. Darling, can I have this stuff on here? It's okay. I wouldn't really want them up here normally, but I'm gonna have to limp roll like this anyway. So she looks so grumpy. I know, you don't want to be held, do you? But you are gonna fall. She's literally hanging half off the desk. I mean, I say desk, it's actually my dining room table. Go on, over there. So that's all of them cut. So the next thing will be to press them, but I think I'm gonna go get some food and probably a coffee. So here I'm just sorting out my transfers between the different t-shirt designs and then also the bum bag designs, just so that I'm a little bit more organised. So I'm going to press the 3XL first, because this will be my one that I'm going to keep, and then I can also decide on the placement, although it's probably going to be the same as the cat one. But my lint roller, that's a good sign, isn't it? I think this is actually broken. It's just very loose. It doesn't really stay on very well. So I've got my heat press up to temperature. I'm going to turn on my fan because it gets quite warm in here. And I'm just going to do a quick little iron of the t-shirt first. Just gentle. Okay, so then I'm going to use my trusty template, if we can call it that. So now I'm just going to remove that. So for this one, I'm going to have to do this in 2 sections. So I always find that if I try and hot peel this now, let's see if I can show you a little bit. This is where it's going to work. Oh yeah, of course. It's going to work today. Oh, no, you see where it got stuck? But I find that when it's cold peeled, it releases from this backing plastic a little bit easier. Okay, so it's not fully cooled down yet, but I did just test it and it did seem to peel off. So you see how easily that's now peeling off. And at this point, the print feels very smooth and like shiny, and it just doesn't feel like it's ingrained very well in the fabric. The next step is to grab some parchment, and then we're basically just going to press it again. So for my t-shirts, I actually have 2 different sizes of transfers. So the small, medium and large sizes have a slightly smaller transfer. So this is the max size that will fit on the small t-shirt, but it still looks good up until the large size. The XL, 2XL and 3XL all have a slightly bigger transfer, which is again the max size that will fit on the XL, but it still looks good on the 3XL. I find that when you go up into larger sizes, if the print doesn't get bigger with the t-shirt size, it can end up looking a little bit weird. So the large sizes I have to do in 2 presses, but then the smaller sizes I can just do in 1 press if I angle the heat press diagonally. The first press, where I'm initially putting the design on with the guide, always takes me a little bit longer than the second press, because obviously you're having to concentrate on where the design is going, but the second press is always a bit quicker because you don't have to worry about that. You're just putting the parchment paper over the top. So this is now Thursday, and as you can see from my desk, it needs a bit of a tidy up. Hello, what is wrong? Are you just squawky? She's very squawky. So here I am just peeling off the protective film that comes on the key rings, and then I packaged them back up with a little card insert that's got my logo and stuff on it. But I want to know your opinions on this. So my partner was watching me do all this and was like, why are you unpacking them just to repack them again? Now personally I find the film quite difficult to remove myself with just a nail, which is why I removed them with tweezers. But do you care if you have to remove the film yourself? Because if I was to not remove the film, then I wouldn't have to put the card insert in, and then I could just put a little sticker on the outside of the packet just to say that the film needs to be removed, because when I sell an item at the market, I always put it in a little paper bag with a business card anyway, so you always get my socials and stuff. And the only benefit to having the logo inside the packet is if it's being gifted, because then the person buying it and the person receiving it would both get my socials. So yeah, I just want to know other people's opinions on this. Should I bother removing the film or should I not? So after I sorted out some of the charms, I had some Etsy orders to pack up. The first one, which is a tuxedo keyring, is actually one that someone placed at market. So I'd run out of stock, but the order was en route to me at that point. So I offered free shipping if they placed the order with me right there and then, because although I don't actually make any more money by doing that, it just means that it's easier for me because I know that I've got the order and I know that I can then fulfill it as soon as the stock comes in. So I just added a little cat sticker to that one. I actually had a tuxedo, so I matched that on the packaging. The next order was a set of all 3 of the cat sim catchers. So I have a little offer on Etsy where you can buy all 3 of a set design. The last order that I had is a magnetic planner, which I had to make up because I don't tend to keep these ones in stock. So I made that one up and then it was time to pack it. So all the magnetic planners come with a magnetic wipeable pen too, and then they just go in a flat A4 envelope. I found that, touch wood, I haven't had any issues with these being delivered in the post like this. But as you can see on the envelope, it was a little bit tatty on the edge. I'm not really sure what happened to this one. So I just added an extra layer of security with some tape over the edge of the tab. Once I had posted my orders, I had to pop into Asda and then I walked Jasper on the way home. He hasn't even noticed all of the pigeons. Far more interested in the tree. So once I got home, I had some parcels that had arrived. So one of them is my new notepads. So you can see I'm just unpacking them here so that I can quality check them. But this is my new Chunky Cats one. It's the artwork that's come from the Did Someone Say Treats print, and it's already been proven to be quite popular. The next parcel that came was some new display stands. Now, as you can see, I was having some great difficulty putting this together. The shelves just weren't slotting in properly, and I tried multiple different ways of doing this together, and I've just sped this up so you can see like the upset that I had from that. So I ordered 2, so the first one didn't go together, and then I thought I'll try putting the second one together and hope for the best. The second one did actually go together, so I did actually have one to use, and then I contacted the seller and they gave me a refund for the other one because the other one isn't really usable because it literally won't slot together or stay together. Now, I had planned for these to actually replace the large one that I've got. As you can see, a notebook and notepad do not fit side by side in it. I had not anticipated that when I measured the notebooks and notepads and then the dimensions that it was saying that it was, I was like, oh, that'll fit. But the problem is where these slots come in a little bit at the side, it means that it's not actually the full width that it says that it is. So that was a little bit annoying, but I'm going to persevere with the big stand and then one of the little ones, because obviously only one of them worked anyway. So I'm going to use the little one for sticker sheets and then the large one just for notebooks and notepads, and then also some sun catchers. For ages I've been wanting to paint them because I hate how the wood stands out so much from the rest of my display. So I just spent the evening painting them black. So I used a black gesso that I've had for ages, which I never really use that much. So I used that and then some black acrylic paint over the top just to top it up. And this does in fact chip, but it's easy to cover up because it's just black acrylic. I can just top it up when I need to. So today is Friday, so this is day 3 of me getting ready for Bath and West. Nothing is going to plan at the moment. I am so far behind and I don't seem to be catching up, so that's great. Yesterday I planned to go through my pins and my key rings to grade them and pack them up ready, and then I was going to finish pressing everything. That didn't happen. Basically, I had some orders to pack, so I packed them. So when I went to go post the orders, I popped into the shop to grab some squash and stuff that we needed. Then I had to pop into the vets because we're having some issues with our pet insurance. And then I walked Jasper on the way back. And then I thought, well, my day's already been fairly disrupted by this point because this was about 1 o'clock by the time I got back. So I quickly had lunch and then I went out. I needed to get some bits from Hobbycraft and the range and Dunelm and stuff, so I popped out and grabbed that stuff. And then I painted. Now I'm going to focus on getting the rest of the stuff pressed because I just want it put away and out of the way, because at the moment it's kind of taken over the lounge, and I can then also start working out my display. I am gonna start pressing the bum bags because, as you can see, I've got quite a lot. I find with a lot of bum bags, they don't fit around me, whereas this one I can get done up and I've still got this amount of tab left, so that's good. And I also actually often will wear it over the shoulder, because when I'm walking around the market, I find, especially if I've got a belt on or something, it can be a bit uncomfortable, and I just wear it like that. So this is going to be my new money bag. There we go. Press this for, just giving it a good and quick heat. Got to be careful because there's obviously a plastic zip here, but previously I didn't have any issues with that, so should be okay. Yeah. So this is the Space Cat design here. This is the little green cat one. So it's just a sage green, and then you've got the dark green print on top. I do like these bags, so I'll show you. Basically the inside is like quite big. Focus. Yeah, the inside is like quite big. You've then got a back zip on it, and there's the little front zip. This is the little dino one. The next job I had to do was to remake my signs. So previously I'd just made my menu boards on some sticker paper, then I stuck them straight onto the panels, which works. However, they get quite scratched quite quickly. So then I invested in some A3 matte laminate so that I could actually laminate them first and then apply it to the panel. This also gave me the chance to add on my new designs that I've got. So you saw me just arranging them on the screen. So I size like the images so that I can see what designs work best next to each other and that sort of thing. Then I just print them out on my A3 printer on the sticker paper, and then cut off the excess and cut the laminate down and then laminate it. So I use a bulldog clip to hold the sticker in place while I'm laminating. It just makes it a little bit easier, stops it from moving around. So I did all 4 of the menu boards like that, and then I also had 2 pet portrait signs to make as well. This one included a QR code, which I did double check that that definitely works with the laminate, and it does. So you can see me just pulling off the old one. There's so much rubbish going on this panel, but I didn't really want to waste another panel, so we're going with the same one. Can't really see it through the sticker paper, so it's okay. But this is my third attempt at a portrait sign, so I'm hoping this one actually does last. So I just use my little squeegee just to properly press it down onto the edges, as you can see. The next one I'm doing is a keyring board. So I actually use these little tags that you get from like food bags. You always get like the little metal tags that are wrapped in plastic, and I actually find they work very well at holding on the key rings, so I just use them. First of all, I've got to go and undo them all and then pull off all of the key rings and then remove the old one. So annoyingly with this one, I didn't actually pull off enough, and you could actually slightly see the lines through, but it's only slight, and to be honest, I could not be bothered to redo it again. So this is the same way as the previous one, so I just cut the little corners off so that they don't go over the edges, and then stick it down with my squeegee. This is not actually that easy to do because of the metal frame, it just slides around on the cutting mat, but we got there in the end. And then to attach the key rings, I just use my pointy tweezers to make holes. So I make 2 holes just above and below each other so that the tag can like poke through. So I go through and I pop all the tags in first, and then I pick which hole that the key ring is going to hang from. And then you can see I just sort of loop the tag back through the top hole and then twist it round at the back. And so far I've only had like one come off one time, and that was because the actual keyring loop, it had come loose or something, I'm not really sure, because these ones aren't treated that nicely because they just sort of get bashed about. There is the possibility that they'll fall off, but I find this method saves the most amount of space, and obviously I've got a lot of designs on that board and I don't really have any more room anywhere else on my table for them, so I have to get as many as I can on. The next one is the pin board. So this is very similar, just removing all the backings of the pins and then removing the pins from the front. You saw that I had some cardboard on the back. I just find that this helps keep the pins on the board a bit easier, gives them something a little bit more to grip hold of. This panel actually pulled off a lot easier than the last one, so that went a bit better. So I found the quickest way of adding them all back on was just to lightly press them through on the cutting mat like this, and then afterwards I went through and punched them through properly, just so I could sort of line them up and then adjust them if needed. And then I went through and pressed the cardboard down on the back just to make sure the pins were through properly, and then added all their backs back on. And then that was them done. And then I did the same with the other 2 boards as well. I am going to go through and plan out my display today. So I'm going to show you how I set it all up, but it's going to be on the floor. So this setup is more than 1 table length because the space I have is actually 3 meters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my 6-foot table straight across, and then I'm going to have my 5-foot table, so it'll be like an inward L for me, so I'll have some like space to work on the left, And then also the width of my space is a little bit wider than the 6-foot table. So the first thing I'm going to do is start building up my charm wall, because that's not going to change. You will have seen in the last clip that I redid these. I didn't film all of it because it got a bit repetitive, because they're basically the same thing. But I have now got my new fly cat design, my mushroom cat, and my Spinosaurus. So for the box, I basically make a 2-grid wide box. So I hate having these grid panels on both sides, because it means if you've got a water bottle, they don't stand on these grids. So what I do is I just have the base just on one side, and then I build up around that, because I want at least one base so that I can clamp this onto the table, so it's got something to like grip onto. My cats aren't happy because I've shut them out, because they just get annoying when I'm doing this, so I've shut them out. I use these ones because they're stronger. These ones are flimsy. So these ones are great for travelling with because they're lighter, but these ones are stronger. 2 main designs on here. This board I call my cat board because it's just cats. And this one I call my other board because at one point it was majority other designs with my Halloween cats. So this is what I call my other board. So my other board goes on first, and then the cat one goes above, because then the cats are eye level. And I always put, for some reason, I always put the key rings this side, and then the pin this side. And then I use the black squares on this side, because this is going to be, like, I'll have a neighbour here, and what I don't want is people seeing the mess behind my table as they're walking past. However, this side, I'm likely to be hanging up my tote bags, so I'm going to use these ones. As you can see, this connector I've faced this way, and then these ones I've faced this way, so you have the smooth side. I'm going to be putting another wall in front. Editing Georgie just coming on to say that the charm wall was actually finished, and then I'm moving on to the other wall that's going to be for apparel and sun catchers. For some reason I didn't actually explain what I was doing, but that's what I'm doing. So I will be going 5 high on this side. There we go. And then what I'll have is just my bum bags in front, so you can still see the designs. I'm thinking I might put up my suncatcher price. I'm thinking probably here. So here I'm just working out what sun catchers are going to fit where and how many designs I can actually take. And what we might do is move these over, so that one's in line with that, and then this one can just stick out a little bit. And I think they look so much nicer being stacked like that. And then I could just have the price sign, and then I've got space to grow. So this is the evening on Saturday, and I remembered that I had to make a load of magnets up. So my magnets I actually order as pins without the backing, and then I attach my own magnet using a very strong glue. Now the manufacturer that I use does actually make magnets where the whole of the back will be a magnet. However, one, I didn't see this when I first started making them because I think it might have been a new product, and two, they cost quite a bit more than the pins themselves. So I was trying to keep the cost down by me adding the magnets on myself, myself. And then also the other reason why I prefer doing them myself is because I use magnets that are a little bit thicker, and because they're smaller, it means that when the charm is on the fridge or whatever other magnetic surface you're applying it to, it's easier to grab the charm off the surface because you can either tilt it or you can fit a finger underneath it. So they're actually a lot easier to move around and stuff like that, which I've had quite a few people say that that's what they prefer. So I think for the time being, I'm going to continue doing this. But if it gets to the point where I'm just having to add too many magnets on, then I probably will have to consider getting the other type where it's a full magnetic back. So I actually had a day out with family on Sunday, so I couldn't do much work on Sunday, but this is like when I got home. So I'm just packing up notepads and other stationery bits that I knew I needed. So the first thing is the little A6 notepads because I only had a couple packed up, and obviously I've got my new design now as well. And then I also had to pack up some more of the DL size because the magnets need adding onto the back of them. I have contemplated doing the DL notepads as like an optional, you can add on a magnet for an extra £1 and have them as £7 as standard and then £8 with the magnet, which is what they currently are. However, I find most people want the magnets, for one thing, and two, even if you don't want the magnet, it doesn't actually affect the notepad at all because they're such thin magnets you can't really feel it when you're writing on it anyway. So it's just like an added bonus to have them on, and then they're all done and I don't have to think about them when I'm at a market. So we've just jumped ahead in time and we're now on Monday morning. I got up really early so that I could start on some sticker making. However, there was a bit of a hiccup and I will explain all in just a moment. And I really hope that you're enjoying my fashion sense because I haven't been leaving the house, so I have been chucking on whatever clothes I can find. So today we are sporting a camo green t-shirt with some Halloween pyjama bottoms. It's a really good fashion choice. But they are comfortable clothes, so that's why I'm wearing them. At the moment I've been having some issues with my sticker sheets not fully cutting through around the edges. Thing is, because my mats are not actually that sticky at the moment, and I have bought some glue to try and re-stickify them because I've tried cleaning them and it has not worked. So guess who messed up? Yeah, it's me. I messed up quite badly. I planned on making all of my sticker sheets that I needed, my sticker packs, some captures, magnetic planners, any other display bits that I needed today, because this is Monday and I have one more day, one more making day. And guess who forgot to order printer inks? So I've run out of yellow and I've run out of cyan. So this was all the sticker sheets I managed to make. I think that will be enough, to be fair, the sticker sheets. But sticker packs I'm going to have to make tomorrow, and all of my signage and any other bits that I need, they're all going to have to be done tomorrow because I don't have any ink left, and I already went beyond the point of like the ink saying it's run out to print those sticker sheets, and I don't really want to push it much further because then the colours are just going to be so off. This huge box is all notepads and notebooks. I have no idea what is going to sell, like literally not a clue. I mean, even for conventions it can be quite difficult to work out what numbers you need, but this is an event that I've never done before. I've never done anything like it before. Anything could be a bestseller really, or nothing could sell. There's also that option. So I'm just taking quite a few of each design of like notebook, notepad and everything. And I'm going to leave the stock at my mum's overnight so that I don't have to take all of it in. So when I pack my bag, I'm going to pack it like I would for a one day plus a little bit extra. and then anything else will just stay at my mum's overnight so that it's not all there. I did also pack up my pens, so they're all in these little packets now, so they can't be used. I almost prefer it because it gives a little bit of protection to the pen as well. I'm thinking I'm just gonna put them in a pot like this, and then I might leave 1 or 2 out with my little sticky notepad so people can test them if they want to check the ink colour. I have packed up all of the cactus designs of the keyrings, pins and magnets. I have 2 designs, but keyring I only have 1. I am discontinuing them. I think I've sold 1 cactus keyring this entire year so far, and that's been 5 months. I don't see the point in holding on to a design that just isn't going to sell. There are some other designs on that board that will be discontinued, but I've got quite a lot of stock of some of them, so I'm not going to discontinue them yet. I'm going to be moving away from like breeds of cats or like colours of cats like I've got at the moment, and I'm going to be focusing more on fun and cute cats. So like the fire cat where it says everything is fine, or the mushroom cat with a little mushroom hat. Fun things, because they seem to do better. There's even things like the orange tabby cleaning in itself. So yeah, I think first of all I just want to do a final count of what stock of sun catchers I've got. I'm going to pack them up, and then I am going to pack all my pins and everything up because they need a final count as well. One over there. So that's 4 of them, which is more. So that one's done. Okay, so I've just gone through and sorted my charms out. I've got 1 box here, that is my extra stock to take with me, and then this box here is extra stock to leave at my parents' house, because it's stock I don't think I'll need, but just in case. On the stand I'll have 2 of each notebook and 3 of each notepad, because that's what fits nicely. So I've just now got to decide how many I'm going to take on the day. I was thinking probably 5 of each notebook. So I don't think I've actually done an update today. This is actually Tuesday evening. I'm supposed to be leaving. I was aiming at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, but the car is not packed. I have got everything just in the lounge here. This is actually little faces that I'm going to put in my t-shirts for display, just to make my display look cute. Now you may be thinking, well Georgie, if you have so much to do, why do something like this when it's not necessary? Well, to that I say this is how my brain works. Yeah, it's very much not something I necessarily need to do, but I wanted to do it, and here we are. So I've printed the faces out onto sticker paper, then I've laminated it with laminate, the same as what I did with my menus. I've got some black foam board, so I'm just going to stick these on and then somehow cut them out. Yeah, so today Oku Poku came round because she needed to pinch my heat press here and also pick up her charms from our little group order. And while she was doing that, I was just doing some like odds and ends pieces, so I was just packing up some bags of stuff that I needed to do because I was waiting for my inks to arrive. As soon as they arrived, I got on with making my sticker packs. Annoyingly, they didn't notify me that it had been delivered, so I just saw it in the post box, so I don't know how long it had been there for. So I have just finished cutting out all of the cats so far. little cow cat, a ragdoll cat, a little black cat, and then also the green dino. I'm gonna shape these off camera and then they will all be done. I am actually gonna leave the vlog here, so this is all me getting ready for Bath and West, and then in the next vlog it'll be my actual Bath and West show. So I'm gonna hopefully film my setup and everything. Hopefully it all goes well, but I will let you know how it goes in the vlog. So bye.